If you missed a couple of episodes, we're with a new club, MK Dons. If you've been liking the series so far, please remember to drop a like and subscribe for notifications of future episodes, including the tactics, including this series Non-League to Glory, and including a new series to start very, very shortly. Before we go any further, roll intro. Hello and welcome to Club 2, Episode 2 of Non-League to Glory. I'm Adam, and on today's episode we have our home game against Luton Town, followed by an away game against Salford. Since you were last with me, this is what has happened. I left you after the Wycombe game, so we'd won 2-0 at Southend and drawn 1-1 with Wycombe. Let's put this on best for view, easier to see. We then won Notts County 3-1. And it took 90th and 90 plus 3 minutes goals to do that. We then drew 1-0 with Port Vale thanks to Van den Poot. We lost 2-0 to Grimsby in a game I thought we would have won at home. We then beat Newport County 2-1 in the FA Cup first round. We lost 3-1 in the AFL Trophy Southern Group B, mainly a reserve team out. We then lost 3-1 to Rochdale in another game I thought we should have won, Pervader scoring again. I then wanted to arrange a friendly, even though it wouldn't give us much rest time, to get some confidence back in, because it seemed as though it was eeping out after the Notts County game. So our league form was starting to suffer early on. 8-0 win, very low opposition, and it did the world of good because we beat Peterborough 1-0 thanks to Sam Smith, and then Sam Smith scored a hat-trick against Middlesbrough in the FA Cup second round to put us into the third round. And this Middlesbrough side, in fact, let's go and have a look at the big table, because that's where we will see Middlesbrough are top on 45 points and have rarely been troubled this season. So that was a good result, and then that gave me more confidence in what was waning when I thought we could have reached the playoffs. So now that looks like it could be on again. Very little news to tell you about on the transfer front, because obviously we can't buy in anybody until January, and even if we do sign those free transfers or agreements, we can't do anything with them. So it's all quiet on that front. The team that we're going to put out to play Luton is as follows, because the other news is Lee Nichols is now injured for the next 4 weeks. Luckily, Moore recovered from an injury recently, but that means that Ognen Trebovac is now our understudy keeper at the moment, a 17-year-old who isn't going to be that great and who isn't that great at the moment. So fingers crossed we don't get no more injuries in that department. Reece James comes back to the fold, and as we mentioned before, the strength in depth at left back isn't fantastic, and so a right back has been having to play there, or not somebody who's got potential to play there. Dice is needing more game time. I don't think we can risk giving him that. It's just not going to happen. So once we bolster our squad in January, he looks as though he could be going out on loan. The same will be for Tim Atale, and there is another guy, Tom Backhouse, Justin Sellers and Mason Day. But the team we're going to put out today to face Luton is Moore in goal, Britton on the right, Cargill and Walsh in the centre, James on the left, Houghton in the holding role, Gilby and Boateng in the centre, Van der Poot on the left, Pervader on the right, and Smith up front. And after those 2 victories, there is one thing. If you remember back to our previous club, I had a Mr. Timlin as our assistant manager. And Mr. Timlin was probably going to go out of the door pretty soon. And he didn't for one reason: we left to come here. Neil MacDonald was my assistant. We lost 3-1 Rochdale, and he told me to congratulate the players and told them they were excellent. And so he has gone very sharpish, and Paul Bracewell has come in. We took him from Forest Green. he's a lot better. So quite happy. But that's the change that we've made as the assistant manager. I do want them to carry on from that last match, because that Middlesbrough game was pretty good form. So we kick off today's game against Luton in pretty much a winnable game, basing off the fact that we've just beaten Middlesbrough and Peterborough. But it's Moore on the ball now, and Moore is going to play that over and out to Boateng, who finds Poveda, and Poveda runs out and strikes the ball, and we are 1-0 up, 10 minutes gone. It's his 5th goal of the season, and why this guy was left out of the starting lineup, I will never know. He can strike a ball, but this is good stuff here. It's quick attacking play, and Poveda just runs through, and there into the bottom right hand corner, it's Poveda from Boateng, and it's 1-0 against Luton, and this form continues at the moment. And now it's Poveda with the free kick, and keeper just gets that out, and it goes out for a throw-in. And we've had 2 shots on target, and both, one scores and one's pretty dangerous. And here we go again, it's Britton, Smith. Britton's going to play it into Poveda again, who's at the centre. Van den Poel can't get his shot cleanly away because the defender blocks it, and now they break and Stockley to Aspas. And Aspas is running forward. He finds space out there, but it's not going to go anywhere. It goes out for a throw-in, and it's James who passes to Walsh. And Walsh back to James. James now to Boateng and Van den Poel. Van den Poel lays it off, and then it's back into Gilby. Gilby lays it back to Cargill, and they're just settling down now as Boateng now releases Poveda, who's looked in dangerous positions throughout, and Poveda takes a shot. And I think that was with his weakest foot, his left foot shot there. Didn't do any danger. Next Houghton to Cargill. Cargill runs back and then passes it to Walsh. Walsh now, who finds James, and we're passing it round. Luton not providing much danger at the moment as Van den Poel now makes the run through. And Van den Poel thought he was going to take the shot. It's Poveda again. And the keeper got an hand to it, but it in the bottom corner. It's his 2nd goal of the game. It's his 6th goal of the season. And we are 2-0 up at home to Luton Town. And this will be 3 great results on the trot. And it's a shame the Middlesbrough game wasn't in the league. We could do with a bit of money off a big draw, but the FA Cup's not a priority. It is this competition. 28 points at the moment then, so only 6 points off the playoffs now. But as I've said previously, we've got to keep that form going, and Luton could have found their way back in, and they looked as though they were going to then. That was their first shot on target, but we are remaining 2-0 up, and it's James Smith plays it in. Van den Poel just runs past, and he takes a shot, and it really was no danger for Luton there. Whereas it remains 2-0, and we're looking quite comfortable as we go into the second half. I am pleased with the performance. We're against Luton, who are in 6th. That is good, and Cargill could have had the 3rd there, who had an awful game on the last episode. All kinds of trouble there. But we are 2-0 up at Luton. That will give us... only rises up to 16th if things will remain the same, but it's sludge now. Gilby now gets on the ball. Britton plays it in, and there is a 3rd, Sam Smith from Callum Britton, and it's his 5th goal in 3 games. And that is a good goal. See here, Gilby out to Britton. Britton then gets the cross in. It's a header from Smith. Keeper had no chance, and it is 3-0, and this is quite impressive. It's a good display here today against Luton Town. High flying in 6th position they were when we started to face them. We're going to have to think about making some changes before I tire out my players, and we will look at bringing Poveda off, who's had an amazing game. I'm going to bring the younger on, Atali, who needs some game time. Britton is going to come off for Keown. Reece James we're going to keep on because he does need to get some condition. Van der Poel I can't bring on. Gilby, although he's supposed to be our key player, hasn't been that great. It was in the first couple of games, if I remember, the ones we didn't play, that we played off air, but he hasn't been great since. Van den Poot, Houghton, and now finds James. James gets it to Van den Poot, and Van den Poot's going to take the shot, and it's 4-0. Reece James with the assist on his first game back after injury. Van den Poot, who's been quite good on that left, who is going to face stiff competition for Rolando Aarons in January. But this is a great ball, well worked. James gets it into Van den Poot, and the keeper's come out and put himself in an awful position, and Van den Poot has capitalised. It is 4-0, and this is an MK Dons team that should be feared at the moment. The recent form with the victory over Middlesbrough as well, and Sam Smith, who is also in good form. Very pleased with the result. And here's a little bit of news. Adam's made an error, and he's only found out because of a recent signing. So we've brought in this guy, and I wanted to bring this guy in. Thought we'd do it before he decides to go elsewhere. Ferran Sarsanades is a deep-lying playmaker, holding role, can play in other positions well. 2.5-star current ability, 4-star potential ability. We're only paying him $2,600 per week. He is a decent addition to the team and provides some competition. And he signs after being released from Barcelona, where he has been since 2012 as obviously a youth player. And we were able to register him. And we were with Rolando Aarons too. So I've dropped a clanger, and I'm surprised Rolando Aarons hasn't kicked off yet. But what that means is we have got 2 players that are now available. Aarons is coming back from injury, but those 2 players can now feature, and that will make things interesting. And now on to the Salford game. We're away today, Salford in 22nd position, and let's go through some team news. So the team that we are putting out is an unchanged team, comprising of Moore, Britton, Cargill, Walsh and James at the back, Houghton, Boateng and Gilby in the centre, Pervader on the right, Van der Poot on the left and Smith up top. One thing to note, onto the bench comes Rolando Aarons and Sarsanades. Even a half-fit Rolando Aarons is better than what we've had. And I hold my hands up, it is entirely my fault that this guy hasn't been seen. But in my defence, it did say Rolando Aarons cannot be registered until the 1st of January. I took that as gospel, and he joined my under-23s until January. But Sarsanades, the new signing, kind of helped us understand that we can play him. So a little bit of luck in that signing has meant that we feature both today, and I hold my hands up to that. But today, that is the team we put out. We're in great form, and we should bring that into the Salford game today. I want them to go out and get revenge for the last time they played. And that, I want 4 victories now. I think it's 4 on the trot, including the FA Cup, but our 3rd in the league. It's Dander for Salford and Walker. Walker lays it off, and we've got Hines there now. Tackled by Van der Poot. It's a free kick, and he's going to be in trouble. Is he going to stay on? He's not, he's off. Oh. There's not really much we can do. We're weak down that left, but if I start moving around, we become weak everywhere. I don't want to move Houghton. Boateng and Gilby, there's no point. Pervader we could put in the centre. It leaves our wings slightly. If it's not working out, Pervader might have to be sacrificed to bring Stearman on, and then we run James and Britton as pure wing backs and play a little bit narrower. That's probably what we're going to look at, but there's nothing I can do. I don't want to bring Aarons on this early. And Van der Poot has put us in an awful position in a winnable game. And it's 3-kide now. Boateng. We've got the ball back. Boateng over the top. Smith chases it. Smith is in great form. Keeper saves and they get it away. It's Elphick and Shinnie and doesn't come to anything. But that is really disappointing from Van der Poel, and we are in a game where we could take the 3 points here. Very confident we could have done, and Van der Poel just really messes that up. Houghton now, Gilby, Cargill out to Britton now on the right. He's going to try and get across and he doesn't. It's Gilby who picks up the ball, and Gilby finds Britton again. Britton and Smith, and it's his 12th of the season and he's 6th in 4 games, and he's on fire. It is 1-0. Callum Britton with another assist, uses Gilby to get more space. They leave him, and Smith with a first time volley, great strike, unstoppable, and it is 1-0. We don't need to see that again. You know he's been played onside, and that is a great goal. It's a great goal for us. This would be a great result. I don't want to tempt fate, but before the sending off we were quite capable. And Dander with 2 tackles there. Britton lays it in. Smith now picks up the ball again, and that was a vicious strike. We have got some players who like a shot from distance, and they hit it with some venom. Smith and Pervader, just 2. Shinnie now over the top. It finds Corey. Corey lays it back, and it's Ruffles to Walker. Walker to Shinnie. Shinnie to Smith. Smith out. Hines, they're trying to stretch us, and they found a route. It's Corey who now finds Ruffles, and it's just over by Corey, and it remains 1-0. But they did look pretty good there. They are struggling from no shots on target, but that won't worry us. 1-0 is quite good, and I'm quite happy to take that now. I am happy with the performance. They do need to keep it up. This would be a great game, and Pervader might not be having the greatest game, but Van der Poel's left. It's 1-1. Jack Baldwin scored. Dander with the cross here. Look, near post. Baldwin unmarked. And that is not good. Pervader's not having a great game, and I don't really blame him. He's been left really isolated. They can't work much because that left hand side's been broken. And what can we do here? And I think we're going to stick to the plan, and we're going to bring Pervader off and put Stearman back, and we're going to play with those wing backs. And we are needing to be a little bit more narrower. So we're going to focus our play through the middle and become very narrow. Is there any other changes we need to make before we go back? We're going to leave it like that. I did want to give the new players a run out and get them some conditioning under. It's 1-1 at the moment. We have changed the system a little. It's Britton, Smith, Britton inside to Houghton. Houghton finds James in acres of space. James now finds Smith. Just like the finish there, but it was quite easy to open them up. And it's Nuku now who kicks that out. Big long kick to Corey who wins it, but Walsh is there to pick it up. Cargill and Walsh passing around, and then back to Moore who's standing in for Nichols. Cargill now plays it out. Gilby knocks it out to James. James knocks it back, and it's Walsh. Walsh over the top. It's Smith. Smith's got a run and he hits it. It's just not got enough on it to trouble the keeper. And we're going to make another. I do want to bring Sarsenides in. I'll let him play as a deep lying playmaker just in behind. Gilby has been playing okay today. Reece James is going to come off for Keown, and I know before you start shouting at me, Keown doesn't want to play there, but he's the only player we've got that can play in that position, and I need the wing backs even though we're playing it narrower. 1-1 at the moment. I think it's going to remain this way. Quite disappointing because this was a winnable game and would have moved us up some positions. I think they were unlucky. I think Van der Poel left them in a mess. Let's have a look what this has done to the table. Let's go and have a look at the big table there. So we remain, I think we started in 16th, did we? Where did we come? We were, yeah, so we were 17th before today's game. That win did move us up, but we have dropped back a place. We're now in 16th, 7 wins, 8 draws, 8 defeats, scored 23, conceded 23. And you can see without that sending off in the first game on this episode that you saw, we are quite impressive and devastating when we're on ball. We have now dropped 8 points behind Newport, and the target for me is the playoffs. They just want to avoid a relegation battle. I want the playoffs. I think that we're quite capable, especially in January. I think Aaron's is probably due through suspension to play the next game. But we're on 29 points. If we can get a few wins together without any draws and defeats in there, we could spring up that table quite quickly, and that is the aim. What does that do to the player stats? So goals, George Thomas from Portsmouth on 11, Keenan Davis, a man who I wanted to bring to Alfreton but didn't want to hear anything about it. He's on 9 for Ipswich. Mark McNulty for Lincoln on 9. Players of the match all on 4. Cherky at Portsmouth, Boswick at Lincoln, and Keenan Davies at Ipswich. Average ratings, we've got Conor Ronan on 7.30, Ben Osborne on 7.25, and Michael Boswick on 7.19. Clean sheets, 12 for Christy Pym at Peterborough, 10 for Trafford at Shrewsbury, and 10 for Lewis at Ipswich. Assists, we look at Kane Vincent Young, Ben Osborne, and Regan Boote on 7. Regan Boote, a player who I remember fondly from the last series, FM19. I might have to take a look at him at Notts County and see whether he's available, because he would be quite a good signing, I think. We'll get him scouted. Let's have a look at the schedule, best for view, and there you can see, look at Sam Smith, 3-6. Scoring the friendly as well, if you're going to count the friendly. I'm not, but you can do. But what we're going to do now is going to get through another chunk of games. I mean, I do want to probably come back here, but I do want to do some business as well, because we need to get some new players in, strengthen this squad, and replace a couple of players that aren't necessarily working and are perhaps squad players. So what I'm going to do is get through Rotherham, Coventry, Shrewsbury, Bristol City, Colchester and Southend. In fact, what we're going to do is get through the whole of January. That way we can see the new transfers coming in and then play that home game against Middlesbrough. So I am going to get a big chunk of these games out of the way, and you'll see me back for that Middlesbrough game. And hopefully I'll look around some new signings. I'm Adam. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.
We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight.